I figured there would be a response. I didn't know there'd be a response this quick from Jimbo Fisher to Nick Saban's claims.
That was more than Jimbo.
Okay.
It was more than Jimbo. It is ablaze.
Do you want to just should we just roll the red carpet out and let Jimbo Fisher take it away from here? Maybe take a minute or so off from the show and let Jimbo talk.
I mean,
you guys
sure, we can.
All right, so
Sure.
so here was the response from Texas A&M head coach Jimbo Fisher to Nick Saban's claims yesterday.
First of all, I'll say it's a shame that we have to do this. It's really despicable. It's despicable that somebody can say things about somebody and an organization. More importantly, 17-year-old kids. You're taking shots at 17-year-old kids and their families. And they broke state laws. They're all money. We bought every player on this group. We never bought anybody. No rules were broken. Nothing was done wrong. It was all in the way we do things, the ethics in which we do things. And these families, it's despicable that a reputable head coach could come out and say this when he doesn't get his way or things don't go his way. The narcissist in him doesn't allow those things to happen, and it's ridiculous. But when he's not on top, and the parity in college football he's been talking about, go talk to coaches who coach for him. You'll find out all the parity. Go dig into wherever he's been. You can find out anything. And it's a shame that you got to sit here and defend 17-year-old kids and families and Texas A&M because we do things right. We're always going to do things right. But we're always going to be here. Some people think they're God. Go dig into how God did his deal. You may find out about a guy that a lot of things you don't want to know. We built him up to be the czar of football. Go dig into his past or anybody that's ever coached with him. You can find out anything you want to find out, what he does and how he does it. And it's despicable.
Have you had any contact with Nick since?
No. Oh, he's called.
You just didn't take the call?
Not going to. We're done.
And
he shows you who he is.
And then I just wanted to.
He's the greatest ever, huh?
And then I just wanted
when you
to.
got all the advantages, it's easy. And what's funny, in that talk, right before he said that about us, wasn't he soliciting funds from the crowd? It's amazing, wasn't it?
To the left, Rob.
When you walk on water, I guess, don't matter. You can call me anything you want to call me. You ain't call me a cheat. I don't cheat and I don't lie. So I learned that when I was a kid. If you did, the old man slapped you side of the head. Maybe somebody should have slapped him.
Woof. Man, oh man, Jimbo Fisher. My God. First of all, I did not expect all that. I didn't know that he was going to go that scorched earth.
Sliced bread. Let me find out where it comes from.
Apparently, Nick Saban struck a nerve, huh? Apparently, he pissed some people off. Jimbo Fisher, most notably. So there it is. There's your Texas A&M head coach laying it down on a Thursday against Nick Saban. So
all right, let's get into this for a second, okay? Let's get into this. So there's a history here. You have to understand, Jimbo Fisher was an assistant for Nick Saban. And if you talk to a lot of people in those kind of Nick Saban coaching tree circles, they would tell you Jimbo Fisher was probably his most respected. So this has been building up for a while as far as the fracture that's been created. Because these two used to be close. I still think, regardless of what has been said, they probably will at some point, come back together and meet the 50-yard line, what have you, or their upcoming SEC spring meetings in Destin, Florida. But the reality is there was a lot of respect between those two, and I think amongst the SEC collectively was this kind of thought to, like, everyone knew how the meat was made. Let's just be real about it. What kind of things were going on before NIL became to be. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, is there was always some sort of illegal activity. It just no one spoke about it, at least not publicly, right? It was almost like an unwritten agreement, kind of a wink-nod agreement amongst those that are out there.
Honor amongst thieves.
Whoa. That's the best way of putting it.
It is.
And people will sit there and say, well, how have they? What do you mean? And LeVar, I'm sure you can kind of chime in different ways. You've heard stories or had people tell you, but I've heard things from poker rooms. Recruits would go into a poker room and they would say, hey, whatever you do, just don't fold. Whatever you do, just don't fold. and they would end up, winning however much money from these poker rooms.
Really?
Churches. You're talking about bag men, guys who had cash waiting for them and all that. I've heard stories of kids who, they They didn't get anything on the way in, but guess what? Whenever they got to school, they were just so happened to room with a very, very wealthy donor's son. And that son would just continually lay out cash week by week for that player to help support him throughout his time at that school. So forever, this has gone on. And no one wanted to kind of bring it to light or talk about it because it was, an unwritten rule, honor amongst thieves, however you want to phrase it. And then NIL came along, and it allowed a lot of this to at least become legal for a period of time, we thought. The problem is inducements started taking place. And let's be – here are the facts. Jimbo Fisher can say whatever he wants, but the way the money was raised was legal. But the problem is I can't tell you that the way they actually handled it was legal. Now, he can have an attorney say it because that's what they're paid to do. It's what you pay attorneys to do. They defend you. They come out, oh, no, there was above board. Everything we did. Yep, crossed every T, dotted every I. And this isn't a shot at young kids, by the way, their families. I don't know where Jimbo Fisher got off saying that. I think he tries to make people feel more, passionate about it or compassionate for the families or kids in those situations accepting the money. But it had nothing to do with that. Nick Saban was just out there talking to a bunch of boosters saying, we're going to have to get more involved like this and fundraise like this if this is where the state of college athletics is going. That was all he was saying. And he was pointing out other examples. And by the way, here's the example he was pointing out. You want to know how many 5 stars Texas A&M had in that 2022 class? That was, oh, by the way, a record setting as far as the overall ranking. They had 8. Do you want to know how many 5 stars they had in the previous 8 recruiting cycles before that? Not even, I think they had 5. Think about that. For 8 years prior, Jimbo Fisher or the University of Texas A&M didn't even have as many 5-star recruits as they had in one recruiting class, and it just so happened to be the year after NIL became legal. And it was after a 4-4 season in the SEC, an 8-4 season. So don't tell me there's not validity to what Nick Saban said. But let's not act like Nick Saban, too, is completely, guilt-free from whatever else has been taking place and going on. And that goes for a lot of the top-tier programs that, have kind of been in those circles, and you heard rumors about, what they're paying players or what they had to do to get a player. This existed forever, but now it's legal once at least they get to school in college football now because of NIL. So it's just, it's 2 guys bickering who, know each other well. They know their tactics and what's been going on. But it sheds some light, I think, on all of this. But I think more than anything else, what it showed us is college football, and it's because of NIL and it's because of recruiting and because of the transfer portal, they are taking a page out of the NFL playbook. There's no offseason. It is all year round, must-watch TV. You now have battles between coaches saying things and so forth and drama. And just like the NFL is continuing to grow in popularity, so is college football. And even though, people may say, well, Greg Sankey needs to step in or this is a black eye for college football. No, it's not.
No way.
Not in today's society. It's just dry. We've been talking about it for the past 2 days. When's the last time you've been talking about college football in the past 2 days and on May 20th, May 19th? And that's the reality of it.